Hello, everyone. This is David Stark from WatcherPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today, I'm joined by Holland Roden, who plays Aaron in the all-new social media escape room thriller, No Escape. No Escape is available on demand digital on September 18th and also stars Keegan Allen, George Janko, and Denzel Whitaker. We're going to talk to Holland in just a second, but first, let's check out that trailer.
Can't get around! They change it every single time. It's intense, but it's a game.
Hi, David.
Hi, Holland. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It looks like you're blogging from your van that you're converting.
I am. Well, the bus office. But yes, the van's right here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I caught a few of those episodes on your Instagram. It's pretty amazing. I'm very impressed with how you're taking your quarantine time.
Oh, thank you. It's very sweet of you to check it out.
Yeah, of course. So thank you so much for joining me. The film is No Escape. It comes out on demand and digital on September 18th. You play Aaron in this film. And I guess the first question is kind of what drew you to this role?
I loved the script because I obviously have dabbled a little bit in the horror genre, and I love that this one had such an organic turn into the madness, in the sense that it's not unrealistic, in my opinion, that these big YouTubers that are always trying to raise the bar, and it's not all too unbelievable that his group of friends would try to throw him this lavish birthday that's surrounding his channel, and when it all goes wrong, we've seen similar stories in real life with YouTubers pulling off something that was a little too insensitive or dangerous. And so I loved how organic it was in that sense.
Awesome. And according to the notes, you were actually the first person to kind of jump on board and enter this room. Is that kind of normal for you? Do you just kind of know what you want and you kind of lead that way? Or was there something about this that just kind of really spoke to you?
As far as the script goes?
Yeah, or the script or the production or the
people, yeah. Keegan had already signed on, and so I knew that I liked the script, and I met with Will, and he was such a lovely human being, and I thought I know Keegan's work, and I'd never worked with him, and so I thought it'd be fun to jump in with him, and he comes from a similar background from Pretty Little Liars, and as far as the fans go, they think it's funny that there's like this show crossover, so to speak. I think Tyler Posey and Lucy Hale did a movie together as well. So it is kind of fun when you're of a similar world, so to speak, as far as the fan base goes, and you get to work together.
Yeah, no, that's really fun. It kind of gives you this built-in rabid fan base that already kind of is supporting you. Although I wonder if they'll, what they'll think of this portrayal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Keegan did such an amazing job in this movie, and I am excited for people to see it.
Well, I really liked the dynamic between you two. I mean, in the film, for people who haven't seen it, Keegan's kind of the social media star, and you are kind of the more reserved one, even though you are, a social media star and an actor and famous in your own right. So it's kind of an interesting, dichotomy between you two. I guess, where did you kind of draw that from? Do you think it's maybe something that a lot of public-facing people kind of have, this kind of like internal struggle between their public persona and this more private persona?
That's a great question. I I went to college and was a pre-med major for 3 years, and went to an all-girls school growing up, so I was never one to like get up and put a bunch of makeup on. And so I do feel a little bit fish out of water being an actress in Hollywood, but I think that it's important to not have as much of a public persona, and it's one of the reasons I started the YouTube channel, documenting my van build as well. Is I think it's important that you don't see us with makeup on, and that you see us when we get up in the morning, and just kind of tearing down that Instagram can go one of two ways. It builds up something so incredibly false, or it could really break down any public wall that was already there to show something real. And so I at least tried to use social media as a catalyst to breaking down any Hollywood wall that was there to begin with, versus heightening it. I think that's important, to use social media in that aspect.
Oh, definitely. And that's a great point that you brought up. I noticed on your videos, you're right. You don't wear makeup. You're kind of out there doing all the work. It's not always glamorous, right? You're doing
No,
the
it's
real
really
work
hard
and telling
work.
people. So that's a great point to show, that you're not always under the light. You can be a normal person, which I think is very important, especially in our
Because we all
current
are,
age.
yeah. There is, this is a business like any other, but I do believe that humanizing, especially in an industry where it's, every X model's an actor, I do believe that humanizing every actor is part of storytelling. It's part of acting. It's intricate to telling the story is feeling accessible and feeling normal.
Definitely. So one of the things that I really loved about this movie is the cast had this really great camaraderie, and it was this really interesting kind of hodgepodge of different people, like a very diverse cast, but everyone kind of had this really great dynamic together. So you mentioned that you and Keegan had worked together previously. How'd you kind
Oh
of
yeah.
get that friendship, or that at least working persona with the rest of the cast for their events or things like that, or did you just kind of naturally hit it off because you all kind of had similar backgrounds?
Oh yeah, I had never met Keegan prior to this. I only just knew him
Ah,
through people saying, "Oh, do you watch Vampire Diaries or do you watch Pretty Little Liars?" Things like that. Fans of Teen Wolf. But no, we met at the table read, all of us, Ronan, Amelia, Sia, everybody, and George. And George comes in with a bang on and off camera. Yeah, we have a really diverse background on and off camera. Sia being a musician, and Amelia and I were actors, but Ronan was an actor, but George was a YouTuber, and that was his first acting role. And so we got lucky. Everyone has a really good attitude. Everyone has a really good work ethic, and we all don't take ourselves too seriously. And in between takes was a lot of just joking around, and we got super lucky. We all keep in touch. It's Ronan, I'm so happy for him with 911. So it's been Lone Star 911. So yeah, it's been a fun ride that we all just got lucky that we all got along and have similar work ethic.
Yeah, that's so important for a movie like this, especially when you're trying to be friends and supposed to care about each other, that you get along. It's funny
Feel
that
that
you
there was that
mentioned.
chemistry in that prior experience. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you mentioned George kind of came with a bang. I know Keegan is the social media star, and they did a really good job with his videos to make him, appear to be and he's a social media star in his own right. But George definitely had like a certain vibe, especially when he was trying to film. He was supposed to be kind of the follow-on person, but he definitely had kind of that it that you get when you're out
He's
there,
got a little
on.
experience that we didn't have
Yeah.
with the vlogging. Yeah. Yeah. He was really helpful. Yeah.
So I want to just ask one quick question. I'm trying not to do spoilers, but it's in the trailer. So, the big scene that you have in the escape room is you're in this tub filled with water. What was that like to film? I assume everything was perfectly safe, but was it
Sorry.
nerve-wracking at times? Was it everything under control the entire time? How did that go?
Yeah, everything was very much in control the entire time. They put you in this tank, and it's actually quite warm water usually when you're doing water scenes. I think I read in Titanic they purposely made it cold because you are there for many hours doing many takes, and so yeah, in my case it was warm, and you just have to pretend you're miserable and scared, and so yeah, they do fill it up to the top, and there's a bit of a space for you to go up and breathe, and you're fine as long as you're not claustrophobic and you're comfortable in water, which I was asked many times over. I was like, I got this, guys, we're good. It's quite enjoyable actually.
Oh, nice. It's kind of like
Yeah,
a an isolation chamber.
it literally is. I had never been to those, what are they called, hyper something
Yeah,
chambers.
hyper
um
something.
yeah, that I've actually never been to one. So hydronic, no, anyway. So yeah, I would look into them if that's what they're like. They're quite relaxing.
Awesome. So I just want to transition to, I call it the lightning round. It's just quick, lightweight questions about your
Great.
character or about the movie. Feel free to answer them or not, although I try to make them very answerable questions. So,
Okay.
uh, one thing I liked about this film is that there was a lot of Russian spoken and there weren't any subtitles. So, if you don't speak it, which I don't, you don't really know what's going on, but you kind of get a sense. Do you speak Russian, or do you speak some Russian now after, filming for a month with a lot of Russian dialogue around you?
Oh, I'm so jealous of people that can speak foreign languages. I'm learning French. Have been for the last like 2 years, and it's going very slowly, but I can only say placebo. Thank you. I have a Russian niece. And I wish I could say I speak more Russian, but I do not know. Ronan, on the other hand, obviously very much does, and Amelia. So hearing them speak, I'm more jealous than anything else. I just wish I could speak Russian. I wish I could speak as many languages as possible. But I
Same,
do not.
same. I can only speak a little bits of a couple languages, so I'm always jealous of people that can really kind of, straddle those lines. Have
French is
you?
my goal. It's probably the only one I'll get
Well,
if I
you've
ever
got the
do.
time right now, right?
Yeah, I have a tutor once a
Perfect,
week. Yep, many years.
perfect. Have you ever done an escape room before?
I love escape rooms. I actually took my mom and my best friend and her mom to the first escape room in Vienna, Austria. That's where they started. So
Oh, wow.
I was sort of this, I love games. I love game nights. I love puzzles. I love riddles. And I've been obsessed with escape rooms for years. So the fact that they're doing movies about them now, I revel in this idea. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, and you obviously love it because you're also going to be in Escape Room 2, which I'm not sure if that has a release date, but I think you definitely have a bug for that.
I know, it's very fun. It's funny that this particular movie, it was 2 years ago is when I filmed this one, and internationally it's called Follow Me. And I resonate more with that title for this film because I do think of it as a social media star gone wrong with
Hmm.
his YouTube channel versus just strictly an escape room movie. And then obviously with Sony's franchise, it's just an escape room and it's really intense with these really intricate puzzles. And so as far as the movies themselves, I haven't seen Escape Room 2's final edit, but reading the scripts, they're the same topic, but quite different played out. If that makes
That's
sense.
not, well, excited to see
Yeah.
that one as well. What would your worst nightmare escape situation be?
I don't know why, but there is something about passing away alone that is really haunting. And so I think anything, leaving this earth alone for some reason is a big fear of mine. So
That's
if
a
there was
very
a situation where I was going to leave this earth alone and possibly in a lot of pain, that would probably be my worst fear.
that's a very valid fear.
Or have to watch someone next to you, in that situation.
Experience that.
It's
True.
pretty horrific as well, obviously.
All right, I'll switch to something more positive now. This film is kind of
Dying alone.
and end scene. So this film is about a crazy trip to Russia, kind of a dream trip. What would your dream trip be?
Oh gosh. Well, I hopefully I'm about to go take a lot of my dream trips. I would love to be somewhat of a nomad, and that's what I'm shooting for. And having the opportunity in quarantine, in this horrific time, to try and put a positive spin, at least in my personal life, of just traveling as much as possible. And I love rural areas. I love skiing. I love backcountry skiing, where you don't have to get on a chairlift and be around people. Sailing. So I just love unconventional vehicles of traveling. And so, yeah, I would say van life and sailboating is sort of my next 10 years. And so that would be, I'm hopefully living out my dream travel.
I was gonna say that sounds like a perfect but also very attainable dream. So that's fingers
Yeah.
crossed that you get that.
Well, long haul, doing, crossing ocean crossings, in a catamaran is my goal. Not necessarily attainable right now, but I'm training for it. Took
Fingers
a few
crossed.
years.
Sorry to interrupt. You have about a minute remaining.
Okay, perfect. So what is the craziest thing you've done for entertainment? This film involved a trip to some crazy escape room. So what's the craziest thing that you've done?
Crazy thing I've done in my life?
Yeah, sure.
I don't even know. I brought this up earlier. I hitchhiked in Namibia to a desert party for New Year's this past year,
That's a
and yeah, and so I was by myself, so I wanted to go to this desert party, but you need a 4x4 to get there, so I flagged a car down in the dark in Namibia and was like, "Hey, are you going to that party by any chance?" And they were, and hopped in their convoy, their Defender 1987 Defender, and went with them.
That is a very good
You
crazy
know,
story. Glad it
I
worked
guess
out.
it did. It was with three very burly dudes, I should say. So I was very lucky it worked out in my just a normal favor, everyone's favor of safety. But yeah.
Sounds like the start of a great night or the start of No Escape too, depending on your perspective.
Exactly. I didn't know where it was going to end that night. Yeah, they spoke Afrikaans, and at least when I was in Cape Town filming Escape Room 2, everyone spoke English. But when you go to sort of the smaller towns of Namibia, it's truly just Afrikaans, and Huamora is the only thing I can say there. So I was not doing well.
Well, see, it sounds like you picked up a couple languages throughout your work and travels, so I have confidence.
Words.
All right, so
language.
So what's next for you? This movie comes out this week, and it sounds like you're working on your van. Is there another project in mind, or anything else that you got on the horizon?
The van's definitely the main dish, but yeah, I filmed a movie in quarantine, and it's about Ted Bundy, and I play a character named Kathleen McChesney. It takes sort of the FBI's and the local law enforcement's perspective on this movie, and how they were able to catch him. And it turns out I've never played a real life character before. Well, actually, that's not true. I've actually one time played a real life character. It's my second time playing a real life character, and she was one of the first female agents at the FBI. She worked with Robert Ressler. I'm a big fan of Robert Ressler, so it was a fun little hoorah for a couple weeks in July. So yeah, that was fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You were able to film during quarantine. I know a lot of people are trying to make sure that content still comes out.
One of the first films, I think we were the first 4 films to shoot in Los Angeles during COVID, and a lot of precautions were taken. It was definitely, I did not want to get on a plane from Wisconsin to Los Angeles. I was dreading it, but and I was very skeptical. Are we actually going to film this thing? Am I getting on a plane for a reason? And we did. We actually filmed, and every precaution was taken in mind. We were completely isolated. I did feel comfortable. But yeah, the fear going into that was pretty darn scary. But then getting into it, it was actually fine.
Oh, awesome.
Because of the precautions they took. We got tested almost every day. We had safety meetings every morning. I mean, it was COVID first and filming second. So I was really, really proud of that film for doing that. It's
probably a great primer for how, it might be for a few years too. So that was
a
good experience.
We were the guinea pigs. I was like, of course. I was like, how am I one of the guinea pigs right now? But I am.
Oh,
I felt very fortunate to work.
You're an adventurous person, so it doesn't surprise me that you'd go out there and kind of put yourself out if you thought it would be a good experience.
Somewhat adventurous. I look at like highliners and base jumpers, and my brother was a former pro rock climber, so I'm not the craziest in the family, surprisingly.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me. No Escape comes out September 18th. You can look for Holland and many other fantastic actors in this social media escape room thriller. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.
That was Holland Roden in the all-new social media escape room thriller No Escape. It's available on digital and on demand on September 18th. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel, and as always, go to watcherpass.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.